for this afternoon is to remake these. These are brackets for the rear fenders. And you can see I tried to salvage them, but they're pretty thin, rusted through. So I got some new steel and used the old ones as templates. And I'm gonna paint these up and they should be good as new. So I got the rear fenders mounted temporarily, first test fit mount. And of course my plan, I'll iron out some more of the dents and Bondo and stuff, but what I'm gonna do is same thing I did on the running boards, basically a truck bed coating inside and out. That should protect it. I'll never get rid of the imperfections, but everything fits just fine. Okay, I'm sparing a lot of boring, cutting, welding, grinding, blah, 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 blah. These stupid pieces, but I did want to mention this is completely blown out. And I still have some of the pipe I used for the other piece. So I think I'm going to do the same thing and replace that top pipe. But that's going to be put on hold. I want to get everything below that done, so it'll be ready to assemble with the wood strips and everything. And I can replace that pipe basically anytime after that, I think, without too much problem. So that is that. I haven't recorded a whole lot of work on the truck. Basically, I'm still working on the bed. One side of it is ready for some Bondo for the little seams here and there, but otherwise straight. I will have to replace the top roll with some pipe. I got the pipe for that because mice got in there and made a nest and peed in it, so there's big holes in there. So, but the big problem, I made a big boo-boo on this side. Yeah, it's not supposed to have that big twist in there. I started using a torch and trying to get some dents out here. Well, that tweaked up the whole side of it. I tried, like I said, I am just learning metalwork. Yeah, failed. Could not get it back twisted around the right way, so I have bought a nice piece of flat, and I'm going to replace a good bit of that in the back, so it'll be nice and straight again. So anyway, it's rusty, and the edge of it is, yeah, kind of worn thin, so I guess just as well. So I know how to cut and weld sheet metal now, so I'll get started on that. Okay. The damage that I did, don't ever do that. And it'll be replaced by that nice flat piece right there. So what do we think? I ran out of gray, so this is the first coat. Now it's ready for a little bit of Bondo on there. And again, I'm going to replace that top roll, top pipe. I think it'll be easier when I get it set up, the three pieces bolted together. It'll be a little bit more sturdy and secure. Okay, this is a recess from the endless Bondo, sanding, etc., etc. Like I mentioned earlier, these top rolls need to be replaced. I had a mouse nest in one, and they pee and it rots the metal, so I gave up on trying to salvage them. I still have some of this pipe left that I used on the back piece, but I'm going to have to cut and splice some together. When you cut, gosh, you got to make sure that everything is straight and square. Also, I'm going to take advantage of these steps in here to help line it up, weld that and grind it. It should be pretty good. I'll have to start with one weld, use a straight edge, and continue making sure that it stays straight every time I weld around there. But that is the next step. This is how I'm going to keep those two pipes straight. I'll put one right there, one weld right there, give it a turn, and give it another weld, and continue on around, and hopefully that should keep it straight. So that's how you make a straight joint. Okay, what I'm getting ready to do is cut this top roll off, and I have very carefully measured back here. You can see the end of the roll edge here. So I measured here, 3 5/8 is what I've decided to go with, and my cuts are going to be down like that. So it should be give me good enough angle to weld the pipe on there without it being too obvious. And this is my best edge, so I'm measuring 3 5/8 from here, even though some of it's a little bit iffy, and of course there's damage here, so you can't measure from there. So using a straight edge, I should be fairly successful. They told me I get more viewers if I use more vice grips. So what do we think? That's great. Little filling in welds in here, and we'll be done with this side. Okay, so I got my Carter filter installed. Had to bend around on this steel fuel line. And this has got to be shortened, get it out of the way. So, and there's supposed to be a heat shield underneath here. Mine was long gone. I'm gonna have to research it and just fabricate. It's just a piece of bent metal. So I will work on that. I'll have to start this up and make sure I don't have any leaks. Here's essentially the heat shield I was talking about, and I've never seen one up close, just pictures of it, so I'm kind of guessing here. Kind of guessing that there's one mount up here on this exhaust manifold bolt and two down here. That obviously is to protect the fuel pump and line from the heat. Okay, so I shortened the heater hose. It's laying on that, but I don't know any other place it could be. Got the heat shield installed, perhaps a little bit bigger than original, but I think it should be fine. It'll do what a heat shield is supposed to do. Yes, I see that kink in the fuel line. I don't think it's going to hurt. If it does, I'll have to do it again. But there you have it. So after all that work of installing a filter and heat shield and everything, the fuel pump, Chinese made, I'm assuming, failed again. There's a pivot pin right here that it already came loose one time and failed. I was on the road and I fixed it. I thought I had fixed it well enough. Well, no, it worked itself loose again. This time I just beat both sides of the pin with a center punch and then put JB weld on each side. So cross my fingers, it's going to be okay now. So the last trip I made, it was kind of running hot. No steam, no nothing, but I took a look and that's why it's running hot. The water pump wasn't really turning very much. I don't think the fan wasn't turning very much. If you remember, I left the alternator like this. Could not get the belt any tighter. So I went to Vintage Power Wagons and just bought their brackets for mounting. So we should be able to get this mounted correctly and tightened up so everything's going to work properly. Next time I get a battery, it's going to be top post and a little bit smaller. But I do have the alternator brackets installed and the belt is a lot tighter. So hopefully that will fix that issue. Finally breaking down and cleaning and getting ready to paint my front wheels. They're pretty pitted, so I'm not going to go to too much trouble. They're not going to be really great looking, but kind of cleaned up pretty good. Wire wheel and some brake clean. So I'm going to put some black on there first. So after hours of wire brushing and cleaning. I got these painted. It was an old can of flat black Rust-Oleum. I was thinking it was semi-gloss. What I'm going to do, I'm going to mask off that outer ring and do a silver on that, the way it's supposed to be. I may do a semi-gloss clear over the whole thing and see if that fixes that issue. But yeah, looks tons better. And dug out some old mud that's been in there probably 50 years. Monroe Magnums on the front. So this was the inner splash guard on the left hand side, so that you could ford creeks and the water wouldn't splash on your distributor. But this was in horrible shape. This piece was cut off, and this was still bolted to the frame, but this was curled up for some reason. I don't know what the deal was, but I'm going to try to resurrect it. I say the heck with this. This is just too rusty to patch up. It's all blown out. It's just a mess. I'm going to see if I can just duplicate this in another piece of sheet metal. So there you go. Got a new splash pan. I stole the original little bracket on there. Makes it a whole lot easier. But now I've got to get it in there and fit it in there. That's going to take some little bit of banging around. Banging around where the master cylinder is to clear that. And then I will paint it. So here's my splash pan. This is how it's going to sit in the truck. So the original had a couple of holes in there. I looked, I don't think they correspond to anything really important, so I left them out. So that's ready to put. Splash guard installed. Now ready to guard from splashes. Winch clutch fork assembly, and I painted it all up in my chosen colors. If you don't like it, sorry, but it looks pretty. I'll put it on the next couple days and test it out. Yay! Actually, I'm going to have to do a little adjusting here because it doesn't quite hit the hole. I think it's just adjusting this bracket back here.